Hello.
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 Hi there.
Hello and welcome to this week's RadioTimes.com podcast. My name is Emma Powell, I'm the news editor, and I'm joined by our entertainment correspondent, Kim Bond.
Hiya.
Hello. So this week we're talking about the return of Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah,
Just
it's very
Love
much back.
Island's finished.
I just feel like I don't sleep anymore. I just, after one thing finishes, another one starts. But, you know, I'm excited for Strictly season, to spend every Saturday night sat in front of the telly with no excuse other than just to watch Strictly. But yeah.
Well, we're excited, but lots of people are not so excited by the lineup this year. And I feel like they're wheeling out the same comments that we get every year about it being a boring lineup with no one we know.
Definitely. And it's strange because I feel like Strictly is so much bigger than its lineup because, yeah, I mean, there's a few names that people might frown at, like Saffron Barker she's not the most well-known person outside the YouTube sphere. There's Karim? Did I say that?
Yeah, from CBBC.
From CBBC. He may not be someone's immediate first choice. And there's rumours about a Blue Peter presenter, which obviously didn't come true in the end. But I think there's a lot of people that some people were just kind of confused as to why they were there, because I know Strictly's a show with that you can draw big names like Young, Ed Balls. So some of the names this year might be a little bit confusing, but at the same time, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it genuinely does not matter, because you'll watch the show and you'll get to know them and you'll just see them as dancers and not necessarily as celebrities or their kind of star power.
But I feel like the show has to adapt as well. You know, it's been going since 2004. They can't keep rolling out the same kinds of celebrities.
Yeah.
Times are changing. Like, when that started in 2004, what was a YouTube vlogger?
Well, exactly.
And really, what was a reality TV star? Apart from things like Big Brother, you didn't really have Made in Chelsea and all those big shows that have actually made names of people.
Yeah.
And if you look at someone like Joe Sugg last year, there was so much backlash over him going, who's Joe Sugg?
Yeah.
He's an absolute nobody. He reached the final.
I remember people saying, why couldn't they just get Zoella? And it's just like, well, Joe Sugg, like, he is a fairly big YouTuber in his own right. I don't know loads about the YouTube community. It's a bit alien to me. But, you know, he's fairly big in his own right. And he did win over a lot of people because he was just a charming, quite nice young man that you want to bring home to your mum. So I feel like there will be surprises this year amongst people we don't know. And like I said, that we're always won over in the end. And we stop caring. We don't really care, I feel.
Well, that's what it's like. Joe, you were saying he won us all over. He did. My grandparents are big Strictly fans, knew nothing about Joe Sugg. My nan was sort of going, who is he? She loved him by the end of it. And I think, do you think maybe we actually need to put a little bit more trust in the BBC team who cast the celebs each year for the show? Because really, I can't think of a lineup where we've actually got to the end of it and gone, that was so disappointing.
I mean, we know, like, they obviously know what they're doing at the BBC. Like, last year, it was a bit of a strange lineup again, but there was a reason for it, to try and, like, entice all members of the family to sit and watch TV and watch Strictly together. I think we need to have a bit of trust in them to just to know what they're doing. I think, no, with Strictly, like you said, with reality shows, there's so many out there at the moment. There's so many, like, celebrity competition shows. There's, like, Dancing on Ice.
Yeah.
There's I'm a Celeb.
Now The Greatest Dancer.
The Greatest Dancer. There's so many, like, reality shows with a celebrity element in there now. And if you look at things like I'm a Celeb and things like that, it tends to be the same kind of rumoured faces, it's kind of a bit more predictable. So what's nice about Strictly is that there is a bit of a curveball.
Yeah.
There is someone that we may not necessarily expect to see. It is quite nice to see a YouTuber, to be honest, like, because I don't know who they are, and then you get to know them, you get to love them. So it is good to see someone different.
And actually, I think it's fair enough. The thing that gets me with YouTube is I don't know that much about vloggers. I'm not big on that scene. My younger sisters are, but they're a huge community with massive fan bases, which are basically unrecognised or unknown within the realms of TV and even radio. So it's only fair that they get some kind of representation. And if the BBC want more youngsters to get involved in Strictly, because it's predominantly an older show for older viewers, then it makes absolute sense to get someone like Joe Sugg or Saffron Barker, who have got thousands and thousands of subscribers, to be on their Saturday night TV show for the next, 15 weeks or whatever it is.
Well, exactly, because Saffron Barker, I think one of her videos has like 10 million views.
Yeah.
So she's obviously, people do know who she is. People are watching her, and they will draw in a new type of audience, really. Like I saw on Michelle Visage Twitter page, she's probably well-known, one of the more well-known stars amongst certain communities.
Yeah.
But there were people who were tweeting her saying, I never watched Strictly, but now you're going to be in it, I'm going to watch it. And that's the type of people they're going to look for, because Strictly is a huge show with so many viewers, but it's a fairly kind of established viewership. So like there's always going to be a certain type of person who watch Strictly. So they're trying to draw in a more diverse audience to watch the show, which I think is a really good idea. Instead of just appealing to the same 10 million, why can't they make that audience 15? Why having loads of different people that may not necessarily watch the show tune in to see more kind of eclectic celebrities?
But it works, because if you look at the stats from, I've only got a couple here, but if you look at the stats from last year, so it averaged just under 9.5 million across the series, and there was a peak of 12.7 million who tuned into the final. The average for that episode alone was 11.7 million, and in 2017 it was 11.6. So it's not noticeable, the drop from 2017 to 2018. So really, people made such a fuss, but there's still essentially the same number of people tuning in 2017 as they did in 2018.
There's every year, you always get the same people saying, I'm going to boycott the show. No, you won't. You're going to sit in on Saturday night, you're going to watch it like the rest of us. So don't say you're going to boycott. You're just going to you can become just as obsessed with it as everyone else will, and it will become just as sucked in, because it's a huge machine. Strictly is on every Saturday night for about 10 weeks. There's It Takes Two on every single night during the week. Yeah. You're just going to get sucked in, and it's compelling TV. It's nice to see celebrities go from being useless to being actually quite good at dancing, no matter who they are. So it's something that we all enjoy and watch regardless. Also,
I feel like it's the sort of what mulled wine and wrapping up warm is to winter, because it is just that staple that's, when that comes on, you know you're in the lead up to Christmas now.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those shows that it kind of heralds Christmas time for me. So you know when it's like autumn, and then it's just kind of like you see the Strictly adverts and the lineup starts coming out. I'm just like, God, it's nearly Christmas. it kind of, it's definitely like a signpost for that time of year. So, and it's nice that it's on and it's kind of warming on every Saturday night. It's something that you can stay in and watch when it's cold. Like I think, regardless of the lineup, we will watch it and we all love it.
And what do we feel about, because reality TV stars, because there was this whole thing, I think it was last year, where allegedly the BBC had put a ban on reality TV stars. That was never confirmed by the BBC. But I mean, we ran a short poll, very short poll online, and 67% of people who voted said they don't think reality TV stars should star on Strictly.
Really?
Yeah, which I can see where people are coming from. I think some reality TV stars, it's the stigma around like a low rent show. But the BBC are not going to choose someone who starred on The Valleys.
Well, exactly. Like the BBC know what they're doing. Like, I love her and she would be brilliant, but they're never going to choose someone like Gemma Collins. It's just not going to happen. I think Jamie Lang is quite a good kind of entry into like reality TV show stars, because he was on Made in Chelsea. He's done a few other like more high profile things that are quite, I don't want to say classy, because I'm not saying Made in Chelsea isn't classy, but he's done things like for Stand Up to Cancer and things like that. So I think he's a more kind of like safer choice. I mean, I'm doubtful we'll ever see someone from Love Island head to Strictly, because they don't quite marry in terms of audience, I think. Yeah. It's not quite suitable, I don't think. But that doesn't mean in the future, I might be totally wrong. We might see like Maura on Strictly next year, for all I know.
Curtis?
Yeah. Oh my God, no.
Well, they have said, haven't they, that they want to team up and win Strictly. I'm sort of thinking that's not going to happen.
I mean, he's on The Greatest Dancer, so who knows?
As the receptionist.
Yeah.
So big
Bless
difference.
him.
But I do think this lineup is quite good, and also it's about the journey that they go on. You don't really watch it because there's a huge name celeb in it. If you did, the biggest name celeb would win every single year.
Exactly.
And I'm quite looking forward to Anneka Rice. She's already said, I'm going to be the Anne Widdecombe of this year. Yeah. But that almost makes her more endearing.
Exactly. Like, I remember 2017, I think Debbie McGee was just like, we had the press day and she was really kind of coy, and she was like, I'm all right, I'm going to do my best. And then she was amazing. So I'm kind of getting that vibe from Anneka Rice. I feel like she's probably had a bit of dance training. I mean, I don't know. But I feel like she's someone I can imagine has probably done a bit of like dancing here and there, which I always think will obviously help. So I think I think there's something about her that I think people will warm to, especially if she's one of the more known celebrities amongst the more, or like the older crowd. Watching Strictly, I feel like people will get behind her. And you're right, it is about the journey, because like Stacey Dooley wasn't the best dancer last year. She wasn't. I think it was Ashley Roberts, like hands down.
Yeah, well, Pussycat Dolls.
Oh, exactly. But she still won because people warmed to her and people love Kevin. So it's not necessarily about how good you are or how famous you are. It's just having a journey we can like bank in, like, or get invested in. And the fact that we, as the British public, we always root for the underdog. We always root for the underdog. So I feel like even if you're not the best dancer, you will go far in Strictly. Yeah,
because it just depends on your personality, really. It's nothing to do with what you're famous for or what you're known for. And I think as well, I mean, I know there's the whole Strictly curse and all of that, but I think a lot of the reason as well that people did like Stacey and Kevin is because there were those rumours floating around, and you watch them every week, and you do think, like, I love these two together.
Yeah.
Like, they've gone on, not only she has gone on a journey and become actually quite a good dancer, she's also had a romance.
Yeah, I mean, with Sean and Katja, we can't pretend. I know it's not usually Strictly's kind of, they try and shy away from that kind of thing. We can't pretend that we didn't like tune in to kind of see how awkward it would be.
Yeah, of course.
And I think to some extent it was played upon, like they didn't dance to a ballad and then they did, or something like that. And it's kind of like we do invest in those kind of romances, or at least the bond between the dancer and the celebrity. And it's quite nice to see, like, I think it was Gemma Atkinson, and she was
and Gorka.
She with and Gorka. They weren't partners together. She was with Ali Ash.
Yeah,
but it was not, because they seemed to have a genuine friendship, and you saw them on like Instagram and Twitter, like hanging out. And it's just actually really endearing to kind of see that.
And now they have a baby.
Yeah,
daughter Mia.
Yeah, bless. Like, I think she's done amazing, actually. To be honest,
she has.
It's one of those shows as well that I think, even if you're not super, super famous, like, it can really propel you. Like, Stacey Dooley's done so well out of Strictly, and she was successful before, and she was an OB or an MB. Like, she was obviously recognised for her work, but she's now doing like so much more than I think she's doing, like the one show. It's really like opened her up. Joe Sugg, like you said, a whole new audience for him.
And met Diane, and now has a whole new YouTube channel.
I know. It's something that, like, it doesn't matter really how famous they are, because it just opens up so many more opportunities, because it's the biggest show on television, and we will watch their journey post Strictly regardless.
Yeah. And it's not to sort of squash other reality shows, but it is one of the more highbrow of the talent contests. It's above X Factor and Dancing on Ice. And I think that's part of its appeal.
Yeah, I think it's as well, like, it is glossy, and there's some kind of like campy moments, or moments that are a bit kind of, you know, set your teeth on edge, but it's definitely, it's more highbrow and classy. It's something you can watch with your mum and dad. It's something that there is like a sheen of quality to it as well. Like, it's got a live band. They book like the best guest acts, and there's something a little more. You can watch it and not feel, it's not a guilty pleasure for anyone, because it's like, it's not bad.
You can say I love Strictly, and no one's going to go, what the hell?
Yeah, well, exactly. It's really well made as well, and they kind of balance drama and like off-screen rumours with like genuinely quite good on-screen moments and good dancing.
And also this year we've got a new judge, because Darcy's left, unfortunately. But we've got Oti's sister.
Yeah, Montse.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Montse Mabuse. Yeah. Little bit of controversy there, because some people seem to think that she's going to be biased in terms of judging her sister. I mean, what do you think? I think it's
ridiculous, because she was a professional dancer and also judge on Let's Dance, the German version of Strictly. And she had judged Oti on there and managed to do it without any incident. And I think, I'm not exactly sure, but I think she once gave Oti a 3, like quite a low score on Let's Dance. I think, to be honest, if it was me and my brother was rating me, I think he'd be so much harder on me than everyone else, because everyone will know that, well, she'll at least know that she's got to be harder, because people think she will like prefer or give like favoritism or nepotism, whatever, to Oti, kind of like like favour her, when she probably knows that she has to be now extra harsh to avoid that. So
I think I'd be worried if I was Oti.
Yeah.
Like, don't mark me down because you're worried people are going to think you're marking me up.
I think as well, you could be a bit ruder when it's your family. Yeah. Like, you can be a little more direct and harsher. So I can imagine Montse will, I can imagine she'll be like that a little bit more savage, really.
Like, what on earth was that footwork?
Yeah, like, just be really rude to her.
Terrible choreography.
But I think she'll be a great addition. It's nice that it's another woman that's joined the panel. And I think she knows what she's doing. So I'm really excited actually to see her on the panel.
It is nice to have I did like Darcy, but it is good to see like a refresh of the panel.
Yeah, you sometimes need fresh blood, I think. Like when the panel stays the same for so long, it can get a little bit stale because you know that Craig will be nasty.
Yeah.
You knew that Len was always a little more generous. And when Shirley came in and replaced Len, she was a bit of a wild card because she didn't know how she was going to be. And now Montse, it's again, there are all these like preconceived ideas on what she'll be like, but we won't know what she's like until she's actually there, and that's exciting to see what she'll bring to the panel.
And you spoke to Rylan Clark,
yes,
who is doing It Takes Two with Zoe Ball. He sort of gave us a hint of what Montse will be like, didn't he?
Yeah, he said that he's hoping she'll be really nasty, and that she'll kind of be like a bit like Simon Cowell is his dream. Whether she'll be that mean, I don't know. I don't think that Strictly is the place for like really, really, really nasty commentary because that's very much, it's too nice a show. It's too much of a family show. That's very much X Factor territory. So I think, so he said she's going to be mean. I'm hoping she's a little stricter because I feel like with Shirley, she's nice, but she's kind of polite. And then Bruno's like over the top with everything. And then Craig brings that kind of like savage element. I'd like to see her be a little harder than some of the other judges.
Because I felt Darcy wasn't that hard.
No.
She was very much sort of like a mum trying to give constructive criticism to a child who's done something wrong.
Exactly. I feel like she was quite gentle with like you said, like a mum, quite gentle, quite kind of like, but next week kind of thing.
Try hard.
Yeah, so I feel like Montse, hopefully she'll be a little more kind of like, no, this was bad. I'd like to see that. Because
I also feel with Craig, he is just like the resident Mr. Nasty on there. And it's almost getting a bit caricature-y. You just know he's going to roll something mean out because that's just the character he is now.
Yeah.
Whereas she'd be good if she went, no, that was really bad.
Yeah. Especially because I think as well when Craig is mean, it like you said, it is a bit kind of like caricature and it's a little bit like expected of him now. So when he is mean, you're kind of like, here we go again. But also when he is mean, when he's really nice, that means so much more. Yeah. If that makes sense. So to have it like Montse be like that, to be quite upfront, blunt, and then when she's nice to be equally as upfront and blunt about it. Yeah. It would be a nice contrast.
Yeah, I think so. And before we finish, who have you got your eye on to win? Because Alex Scott is the favourite at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, she did win, like the sports version.
Did,
yeah. I don't think that will work in her favour, to be honest. I feel like people might recognise her from that and just be like, well, we know she's good.
Seen it.
Like if you think about Ashley Roberts and who was it last year? Not last year, year before. Who was like professional but wasn't. So there was another one.
Oh yeah, there was. I can't remember now.
God. But yeah, there's always talk that they're like too good for the show because they've had some professional training. So I feel like that won't help her. I feel like she might be good, but I feel like, again, we invest in the journey. I think Anneka Rice, as you were saying, her saying that she's like the new Anne Widdecombe, I feel like people will warm to her, especially if she does become really good. As long as it's going to sound so nasty, as long as she's not partnered with Anton, because they tend to like...
I was just about to say that. She'll be out.
Yeah, because not that Anton's not great, and he really brings something to the show by being kind of funny and warm and like making kind of like funny routines, but he never gets the winner.
No, and I feel like if she is going to be the Anne Widdecombe, Anton's not going to reach the final.
No, I feel like, I mean, she should be partnered with someone who kind of fosters her dancing and not kind of the idea of it. I'm not saying that Anton always gets the joke act, but sometimes it turns into that a little bit. Like, I do remember last year with Susanna, and she was like in that skirt and underneath was Anton, like
it's like doomed from the off.
Kind of like no.
She needs like a Kevin Clifton, or even an Alliage.
Yeah. I mean, whoever Kevin gets will get to the final, regardless. But I feel that also Jamie Lang, like we were saying earlier just before we came down, that Jamie Lang will win people over because he is quite charming. Yeah. He does have kind of a boyish appeal that I think people will warm to. People might just be like, oh, he's from Made in Chelsea, he's one of them. But I feel like when you interview him or you see him be interviewed, he's really, really nice.
He is, really he's a lovely interview, actually.
Yeah, so I feel like he'll probably go quite far. And I think we'll be surprised by Saffron Barker. I think she'll go quite far because if she does have this YouTube audience watching, they might be like, well, we want Saffron to win. Yeah. So, and also Catherine Tilsley, I think as a soap star,
Emma Barton
Emma
from
I think
EastEnders.
they'll
They're
do quite
massive
well.
draws for Strictly audiences.
I think they'll do quite well because they'll have their own fan bases already backing them. So I think those are quite good shouts. I don't know who will go first though. I mean, we haven't seen them dance yet.
Well, poor David James, I think, is the bookies' favourite to go first at the moment, which is a shame actually.
Yeah.
But sportsmen don't tend to do too well in Strictly.
I know
Darren Gough won it, didn't
won.
he? The cricketer one year, but I don't think as a rule they get too far.
Graham Swan did quite well last year, all right. But no, you're right, yeah. Which is a shame because you'd think with all their training they'd be quite used to long days.
It's just whether they're coordinated enough and like elegant is probably the word.
I mean, he's 6'5", isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's already kind of like on the back foot of it, just being so massive. But that's kind of made me sad. I hope not.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go week one. But the thing is, looking at the lineup, there's not really anyone I would want to go in week one. You know, there's usually someone where you go, well, if they went, I wouldn't be too upset.
Yeah.
As long as Mike Bushell stays in for long enough to do something in prop week with a paddling pool.
Yeah, I just want him to fall over.
Yeah.
Like, that would just bring me so much joy. But no, what's lovely about Strictly as well is that no one actually does go in the first week. It's usually they have that kind of 2 weeks, you get to know and see everyone dance and then someone goes. But I feel at least you have like ample time with everyone.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed for them. And I don't know who's going to win, to be honest, this year.
Well, we'll soon find out. Thank you for listening to the radiotimes.com podcast, and we look forward to talking to you next week.